You are watching
Rarely Reserved,
a convention reporting podcast.
I am Charles, also known as Omnus.
And I am Sin, today mild interviewer.
Yes. Maybe a little bit of FOMO.
A lot of FOMO.
Yeah.
Mild on the interviewing, extreme on the FOMO.
Oh, man. I am so happy that I'm not sick. Like, that is probably the best part right now is that I'm just getting shit done. And I'm just so thankful that I don't have COVID this time.
Yeah. That's appreciated.
Yes.
Return from events, not having concred.
Yeah, not even really in the slightest. Like, I have been totally fine.
You seem great.
I just was tired. And so just the day I got back, I crashed at like 8, slept for like 11 hours. Yeah. I did it at the right time. So I got up right at like my normal time to get up. So I'm back on like the right sleeping schedule.
Ayo.
Banger success. Aligned. Yes. So where do you want to start this whole thing?
I did get to watch some of the videos.
Ooh, okay. Which ones did you watch?
I know I'm really bad with names and worse with faces.
Yes.
So I know I listened to one that was kind of more Shatterpoint specific and one that was kind of just...
did you listen to the player interviews or the log or staff interviews?
Staff interviews.
Well, did 3 staff interviews overall. The first one I dropped was with Pagani, who definitely has been working on all of the things. He was like the main designer developer from the get-go. So you might have listened to that one.
So.
The Shatterpoint focus one was with Plumber, who is just a delightful human being. Yes, and it was awesome seeing him at the convention. Got a chance to hang out a bit. And then we dropped a Will Schick one on Sunday on the last day.
Yeah.
So the only thing that kind of went wrong is that I have a Dallas interview that is an all hobby talk thing, but the audio file was corrupt.
No.
And so I haven't found a way to fix that yet.
Tragic.
But yeah, that one was also fun. So I'm sad that I don't currently have that. But the grand scheme of things, that was the only real loss, and almost everything else has gone seamless.
Okay. Well, I was working nonstop, and I mean nonstop that whole time because that's...
Yeah, you got less sleep than I did.
I did somehow get less sleep than you. And because Adepticon coincided with like one of our busiest weeks of the year. And so the only reason I was able to listen to I had no time to look at those episodes because I had like time where I was driving in between Tacoma and Issaquah. And I was like, all right, I have my moment. And but
a literal single moment.
A literal single moment.
You're like one syllable.
Or a moment. So I actually know nothing.
Okay.
I know what you guys talked about in those 3. I watched 2 and I only made it halfway through one of them because my drive was only so long.
Yes.
So I know nothing. So tell me what the biggest thing was to you.
Biggest thing. So do you want it to be from the recording perspective or just from like a convention?
What? I mean, we'll do that part second.
Okay.
Hangs with individual people second. I mean, like broadly Adepticon because I didn't like because of my work. I got a little bit subject to what happened in specifically 40K, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I will say probably like the most significant thing is in both the Plumber interview and in the Will Schick interview. The idea was like, hey guys, obviously there's been some corporate messages to the Shatterpoint players. You know, what can put it into some normal speak? Like what should Shatterpoint players, be kind of extracting from this? And it was just really nice to hear the people involved be like, hey, the game is not dead. We are in a point where we just don't know what the release cycle is going to be. It's not in a set, schedule in the way that like MCP and Legion are, but it is absolutely things that they want to work on, and just having them, say it, to your face and to a camera for everyone else. I think that was really important for everyone. And it really, it reinforced my personal stance where I feel like this is in our hands, right? As a community. This is, you look at like the turnout for the Adepticon Worlds, like it had like 120 20-ish people, and like you compare it to say something like Age of Sigmar was at about 160. So we're not like that far behind some of the other like really big games, and so I don't think we have to grow that much. I think it's just I think Shatterpoint has had probably some like things that like sold high and some things that sold low, and they're trying to figure out like something more consistent so that the people above, and that's just me extrapolating where I'm thinking like, hey, I mean, obviously if it were selling boatloads, we wouldn't be asking this question at all. And so it's probably something where they just have a little bit higher expectations for the game. But if the people who are working on the game want to work on it, they have plenty of ideas, they still have the license, there's still a player base, it probably just means that like to justify all the costs that go into everything, they just need like a little bit more people playing. And that's something that we have the power to do. So I'm definitely reinforced that for at least a full year, from like now until next Adepticon, I'm going to have a big focus of community growth. And I just want to do my part. And it's not, I had some, like definitely have been accused of blind. What was the phrasing? Blind optimism. And it's not blind. I think the game is genuinely doing well, or it is still going, and it just needs some love. And I was like, hey, if there's one thing I can do, is try to bring in people to the game and play it and grow. And so I'm excited to run tournaments, and brought back some extra stuff from the event to give away as prizes. And gonna go into a community building mode for sure. So that's probably the biggest like hit right in the fields for the whole thing. And thank you to, I didn't ask that question of Pagani because we just had other things to talk about, but I appreciate both Schick and Plumber kind of getting into that on camera. I will say, side note, probably second most important thing, I thought it was super cool that they let us record a demo of Marvel Alliances.
Yes, I did. I saw that. Didn't obviously get to watch it, but
especially considering I don't think a demo of the game has been shown publicly. Like, so it's not something where like another channel had already done a demo or they had posted a demo online, as far as I'm aware. So the very first chance to like view it from the public who are not there at Adepticon, got to see it on the channel. And so like, that's cool. I've never done something like that before. And the person doing the demo is a personal friend of mine, Greg, who is just like the sweetest dude. And so it was kind of more him. Like I just made a few jokes in the background, but he was doing the demo. And I think it was cool that we got to like have something like that for the first time. And there was even people at the con who were like, I didn't have a chance to do the demo, but at the end of the day, after food and just going back to the room while unwinding, I watched your demo.
Oh,
so like even people at the con were like, this made me feel even more connected with the con. So that was awesome. Kind of I'd say those are the big home runs.
Okay. Yeah. Did you guys, I genuinely don't know. Did they do any like presentation stuff there? Or?
Yes, there was a keynote, which by the way is super cool. So this year, at the keynote, they saved seats for press for like all the podcasts and everybody who was, involved in the community in that way. So it also made it like really easy. So you could, if as you were coming in, you're not trying to like split up the groups, right? And so it was really easy, like as just, to make sure that Danny and I had a seat together. And that was just a little thing. It doesn't cost them anything, but it was just like a really nice thing to just have a little like, press spot and like talking with all the other podcasters
because I can't remember which one of them said it in your interview, but they were like, we need to appreciate how much like kind of like labor that all the people who do shows do of like hyping up the game. Like it's not like we get paid by AMG to do this. So like the fact that they were like, oh yeah, we see and appreciate all of the like hype that you guys build for the game. So like that feels like they thought of that of like, all right, we gotta support the people who are talking about the game.
So waiting for the keynote to start, because I didn't know that there was press seats, So we're like, come up the escalators. They literally had to have security start pushing the crowd away from the escalators because people were coming up the escalators with nowhere to go.
Oh,
like we had totally taken over the area in front of that keynote spot, and so it was just packed with people. So that was kind of funny. It felt like waiting for like a concert or something. It was kind of funny that route. But yes, there was a keynote. Do you have questions about the keynote?
I mean, who was on it? Who said things?
Well, so it was mostly like Will Schick did really the whole presentation. Just kind of talked. It was definitely, I think a lot of people felt like it was light on both MCP and Shatterpoint. But in the Will Schick interview, he was talking about, hey, we had been spoiling too much too far in advance. And so we really realized that we had to draw, we as in Will Schick, AMG, was like, that stuff has to be pulled back a bit. Like we were just getting so far ahead of ourselves that by the time models are coming out, the people aren't even that excited about it because they've known about it for so long. And so this was just like, we got to see some stat cards for like the robots in MCP. So we got to see some of what the Sentinel stuff was going to do, which is really exciting. Shatterpoint was mostly like seeing some of the painted models and stuff for the sequel stuff. And kind of revealing some of the characters that were going to be in the errata. But then the super announcement was for Legion, which was like Mandalorians are coming. And I don't know the terminology because there's like Army, Battle Force. There's like multiple like levels to it in Legion, which I don't know. But it was basically like there's going to be a shit ton of Mandalorian stuff and it's dropping in June. Not it's dropping next year. It's dropping in a few months. And they're like, the thing that blew me away was like, you're going to have an ability to make your own clan. Like a custom clan in the, and I was like, okay, that sounds really exciting. But I think that what was coolest about it for me is I've always felt like they were dropping too much too early. And so this idea that you could now have a big announcement and it's not, hey, this is a big announcement for next year. This is a big announcement for 3 months from now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so I like that shift marketing wise. Don't tell me so much. Get me excited where I can like, all right, I'm going back and pre-ordering it. You know, that's what I want. But yeah, keynote fun. Dizzard, it confused all of us. So right when they announced like the Mandalorian thing, he threw something at Schick. And I was like, what just happened? And I asked him about it afterwards. He's like, I threw my wallet at him. So that was shout out to Desert. That was once you realized what actually happened, that was pretty funny.
That is good. Okay. So announcements for different games. That's good. I agree. Trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves. Kind of a balance. But okay. So you went to the keynote, got to sit in the press box, got to get some interviews in, got to do some games.
So the only thing I played in, I brought a fair amount of models with me for all I played in was the Battle on the Sands, which was the 4-player or 3 to 4 player Shatterpoint kind of format. So I did play in that. So I did play something.
Yeah, I remember you having this conversation about like, I'm overthinking what I'm bringing to Adepticon. I'm probably going to do all this work to bring certain models and then just not use them. Yes,
before my flight, I'm like building Shatterpoint and MCP lists, trying to go like, all right. Because part of it was like, I knew that I could get there and just be like, all right, the recording thing is not going to work out. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know how much of it was going to work. So I was ready to play some games.
Sounds like, though, everything did work out and you burned up a lot of, I don't know the computer word, memory.
Yeah, memory, bandwidth, something. So for the most part, it was a lot of recording. Like day one, did 4 like 15, 20-minute player sort of interviews with people from different communities, like Norbert from the UK, who's an American who's now the UK, but he played War Machine back in the day. Nice. So I'd met him in the US, but now he's been in the UK for more than 10 years.
Wow.
But he's come to multiple Adepticon. So I did one with him and then just kind of went from there and was just like interviewing awesome people from the MCP and the Shatterpoint community. And that was just to test the ropes initially. And like things were just firing. So then did like 4 more the next day. And then 4 staff interviews. One has a problem. The audio file is corrupt. And so I'm trying to decide. It just hasn't been a focus to work on that first. There is this cool interview about a whole hour plus with Dallas, just talking hobby and stuff. And it was super fun. and definitely like very unique compared to the other interviews. And I have the video footage at the very least, which has audio, but it's bad audio.
Yeah.
So I could always just release that. But I'm hoping that maybe there's a way for me to still fix that audio file. Yeah, did a lot of recording, and then came back with 4 recorded Shatterpoint games, 5 recorded MCP games. Yeah, I think that's the way that broke down, and obviously the demo.
Yes.
And
you got to record the demo of
Alliances. Battle on the Sands was not complete. They didn't want us taking pictures or anything like that. I did a little like video kind of talking about it afterwards. So if you want to know about Battle on the Sands, I can tell you about it.
Yes.
But they did not want us to take pictures.
Oh.
It's just not done. Like this was more of like a, hey, you get to basically live beta test.
Oh,
Battle on
okay.
the Sands.
Oh, you beta tested something. That's fun. So do they think it'll come out soon, TM?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. Okay. I think there was some light tweaks, and it was even, I was talking with Plumber afterwards, because they very clearly wanted to collect information. And so like the person who was running it was collecting information for it. But I was like, I needed to talk to Plumber about the interview because we hadn't done it yet. And so there was an interview scheduled for the next day. And so I needed to talk to him about that anyway, because we were going over a little bit of like what we were going to cover. Because I was really trying not to put anything in that I would need to cut out or anything like that. Just because like I wanted to bang these out. I wanted them dropping like right away. And so I really wanted to avoid anything that was going to be like multiple hours of editing. And so I was just kind of talking about like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about dropping, or like asking, and like what I thought would be cool for the episode, kind of like gist and stuff like that. And then we just started talking about Battle on the Sands, and it sounded like we might not even have been playing like the most current version. Like there was even a more updated version. And so like, because one of the main things that I was like, this would probably be the thing that I would change. And he's like, I think we've already changed that actually.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. Well, darn, I was a little bit hoping it would be like ready, but I was definitely hoping that I was going to come back with like a kit, right? Like it was an early release OP kit, and we were going to play Battle in the Sands like today. You know, that was definitely a hope going into it, but that was not quite the case. I know a lot of the rules off the top of my head, but so like we probably could play it and get the basic gist. Why is it called what it's called? What's the theme there?
I actually don't think Battle on the Sands is a good name for it. I mean, it's just really kind of I'm wondering if there's like an episode or something that's named Battle on the Sands.
There's got to be some reason.
We were talking about it, and
it sounds. I'm so sorry to whoever picked this name. It sounds like the name of a really good like beach volleyball tournament.
Yeah, Battle on the Sand, featuring Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise.
Is that a movie?
Top Gun volleyball. Have you never seen Top Gun?
Is that the one that came out like a year ago?
That was the sequel to it. But there's a really famous Tom Cruise versus Val Kilmer that's like shirtless volleyball scene in it.
The guy from Tombstone?
Yeah.
Oh. I'll look into this later.
You have to at least YouTube Top Gun volleyball scene you could know what I was talking about. A little bit. There's a lot of high-fiving that goes on. Oh my God.
Okay, well.
But yeah, no, it is not a volleyball game. But what I think is probably the coolest part about it is that it has genuine multiplayer mechanics. It's not just, hey, this is a free-for-all.
Oh.
The concept is that the person to my left, I am their prey. They get points for my stuff dying, and they want to go after my base. But I want to go after the person to my right. And so what happens is, like, if you were my prey, anytime any of your models get wounded, I get momentum, whether I got the wound or not. And so you're actively incentivized to not go after the other people.
Okay.
So it's weird because you also don't want to just get a grudge against your prey, because you don't really get rewards for going after your prey, but you want to stop them from taking your base because they get more points that way. Okay. So there's some genuine mechanics. And then also because there's basically additional cards that go in your order deck, but they're not like the Thrawn battle tactics, and they're not just like more Shatterpoint cards. It basically is get a card that says activate your support and a card that says activate your secondary. But when you do those cards, you also give some things to your like unlikely ally. I forget what they're called, but the person who's neither your hunter or your prey.
Oh.
So the person like directly across from me, when I do that, they get little bonuses. So there's also some things that happen where you can make attacks during other people's turns. And so I like what it's throwing down, and I would like to see more of it. And so yeah, it's not free for all. It's multiplayer, but you have like your focus and how do you resolve that? And you want to protect your base, and yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of healing. It's actually hard for the game to end via like models leaving the table.
Oh, okay. Does it have like, since there's like things you're going after that you're not going after and unrelated people, is any part of the game kind of political? Like, hey, if you do this, I will do this.
Yeah, I think you definitely can, because now the only thing is I played in a 3-player game, which I definitely don't think is as strong as the 4-player version because of that unlikely ally mechanic where there's someone you're like, you're not my prey, you're not my hunter, so I could help you if you're doing stuff. And so you could absolutely bargain where it's like, hey, could you leave my prey on like 1? Or, you could absolutely make deals where you're like, I can't utilize this activation to hurt my prey, but I could hurt your prey.
Yeah, I love games where there's kind of like a side game of like, let's help each other out here. That I love that sort of thing. So if that's at all part of it, because I'm like, what are we gonna do? I'm not above a little bit of bribery. Yeah. So,
and then there's also a mechanic where every time somebody basically like scores a VP, whoever's the furthest behind gets some bonuses.
Okay, so there's catch-up mechanics.
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah, it's got genuine multiplayer mechanics, so I respect that a lot, and I'm excited to dig into it more with like our group. I had fun with like the random people at Adepticon, but it's not the same as like you and me and like grabbing some of the war council and busting out a battle on the sands.
Who did you see out of them?
What do you mean?
The war council.
Oh, let's see. Kevin was definitely there. He was actually the very first person that I hugged. So I saw Kevin. Sarah Cruel and Pure were both there. Got to hang out with them more than I got to hang out with Kevin. He's just got like the Halo stuff and whatnot too. Right. But unfortunately, no Dylan, no Lex at the event. But gotta see a lot of people. And actually I feel like I did a good job like spreading out the hangout time. Like I got a lot of time with a lot of different people. I did try to recruit so Lamb Chop, who is from the Arizona meta. He was the only person in the top 8 that did not have a community listed.
Oh.
And so I went up to him and I was like, let's do contract negotiations. I was like, would you like a beer?
See, not above bribery.
Yeah. And I was like, so we were going to do this whole thing, but then he showed up like very last second for the top 8. Okay. So we didn't have time because you can't actually you can't change your community in the same way you can't change your list. Like you can't go modify your stuff, but the judge could change it. But that was kind of a fun little, and he's been considering moving to Seattle. So I told Todd and whatnot that they have their team has gotten too expensive. They have too many good players, and so Lamb Chop is entering free agency. And we're planning to acquire him.
Oh man, that's so funny. We're gonna steal all the people. I mean, but I'd like to steal most of them.
Yes, yeah. It's too OP. Too many good.
Too much good.
Too many sweet people.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like you got to do some demos, play a little bit, talk to a lot of fun people.
Yeah, and we did a lot of good hangs. The first night, like Wednesday night, was kind of weird because we were trying to get out to places and like every place was like stopping serving food. And so it was like me, Danny, and David, who you probably met briefly at LVO. We were trying to find a spot. We went to like the first restaurant / bar we went to. We sat down. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill someone for a cheeseburger right now. Like I am so hungry. I had like half a pretzel and and then the waitress walks to the table and goes, we're not serving any more food.
No.
And I was like, can I at least have like some fries or something? Like keep me alive over here. I don't think I can. I thought I was so hungry I shouldn't drink.
Oh, we've entered a territory. Yeah. That is not fun. Yeah.
And then the next people come in have menus, and I'm like, what the?
They shouldn't like you.
They're like, no, literally we ended up leaving, going somewhere else. They had stopped serving food. Then we found another place. I think it was called Your Office, but it was this pretty cool, like old school, small bar. And they're like, yep, we're serving food. I ordered a cheeseburger and it was like out in like 7 minutes or something. And Dang. they were on the ball. That place was pretty cool. Now the nights are all starting to blend in together. I want to say Friday night, I was ready to like, it seemed like nobody was going to be hanging out afterwards.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go back and I'll hang with the Muse boys at the Airbnb if nobody's coming out. So we went back there and then they were putting on our videos.
Aw.
And I was like, I thought that was kind of funny. So I'm like literally like there, I'm like editing stuff and they're like watching our interviews of like Plumber and Pagani. But then the boys like got back from dinner and there's multiple people like, are you coming out? I was like, all right, I'll come back out. And so then we hung out to, I don't even remember where Danny and I ended up that night. We ended up somewhere. Yeah, I don't remember that night. But yeah, and then like the next one, we were at the 3rd Street Market thing, doing beers with like, it was mostly Shatterpoint community, few MCP. And then that kind of like round down. Then we ended up with the Muse boys just like on some couches with a cooler of beer. And what was super fun about that is I don't think you haven't met Josh, Muse Josh yet, but I realized that he was a brewmaster, like in the middle of the conversation. So I started basically like interviewing him on brewing.
Nice.
Which was super fun. Just like asking, beer questions and had a blast there. And then Sunday night was, met up with some of the AMG staff at a bar. The bar was kind of closing. And we all filtered over to like the main Adepticon after party. Nice. And was there until like 2 a.m., which is like midnight for my brain, so it didn't even really feel like that much.
Yeah, you went to a goth party without me, for which I will never forgive you.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that Danny and I ended up doing Friday night. Because we were just like, almost everybody had like gone to bed early or whatever. Yeah. And we just heard that there was like an Adepticon party. And so we went up to it and they're like, oh, there's not that much time, but you can come hang out for a bit. And we're like, yeah, totally cool. And I was like, we're at a full on goth party and Sin is not here. And that just felt really weird.
Yeah, you sent me those issues and I typed out, like 6 different ways of upset. And then I was like, I need to calm down.
Yeah.
Need to calm down.
You would have fit in perfectly. I wasn't even wearing my Omnus Protocol hoodie. I was wearing the Move Throw hoodie. Oh. So I was like in the wrong colors too. Like I could have at least been in my black and red instead of the blue and orange.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I fit in at all. But I was like, in my heart, I was like, I just want you all to know you're my people. Even if I'm getting old, you're still my goth people. But it was fun. Everybody there was like very cool and nice. But the funniest part about that was just like that you needed to be there for sure.
I know. Now I really hope that next year my big work crunch doesn't overlap with Adepticon, because I would really love to go. Yeah.
If you're doing Adepticon next year, we can plan for the goth party.
Yes.
We can plan to like Friday night goth party for sure.
A specific goth party outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wear a black hoodie.
Thank you. That, you know what? Solid.
Yeah.
Close enough.
All right. Well, what else do you want to know?
So, gosh, you were there Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night,
Saturday night, Sunday night, left Monday.
Okay. Dang, that was also my work thing was like Wednesday through Monday, and so same.
You're like, I know.
Yeah.
A random cool thing is like Dizzard ended up at the airport super early. And so his flight was like 3 hours after mine. But basically I got there like 3 hours before my flight. So Dizzard and I got to just hang out for like 2.5 hours at the airport shooting the shit, which was awesome. A really nice like wind down from the whole thing, to be totally honest.
Yeah, just kind of a solo. I think that's the one thing that I get really overwhelmed with at conventions is like the quantity of people you're around at any given time. So like getting to like do these like smaller
get a little individual hang.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I just had a question.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
I brought you stuff. Are you ready to see stuff?
Yes.
Okay, you can lift up the dice tray.
Hey! Oh, I'm not covered up. Dice. They're black and white.
I figured you'd want to have some of the black dice too.
I do, and I think that's like one of the things that I like when you were leaving. Oh, I'm going to get some of the black and white dice, and I was like, it's one single tear starts rolling down my eye.
I want goth dice too.
I want the goth dice. These rock. Oh, good old Shatterpoint dice. Clicky clacky. Ooh.
And this is one of the promo cards for Morgan, who's a witch, so
and also
it seemed appropriate.
Solid.
Yeah. I forget what, because that's not an acrylic card like they did with some of the early ones. It's a little different, but it's like, I forget what they call those.
Yeah. No, this is nice.
Maybe I think it's just a plastic card, maybe is what it is.
Solid. Feels good in the hand. Ayo.
Yeah, just wanted to bring you back some stuff so you got to feel.
Love this for me. Gotta roll them.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Really good. Yeah.
4 hits, 2 expertise. That's
yay, they're good dice. I don't have to throw them away. I'm kidding. I would do that.
Brought you back some winners.
Yes. Awesome. That also means this character is going to do really well for me.
I think you'll like her.
Yes. I mean, she looks sick.
Yeah.
But,
you'll have to come up with your own special cool like witch scheme for her.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, sort of. Now that you're back and have had this whole fun, experience and getting in and talking to people and playing more, does this alter any of your upcoming plans for local stuff?
Not really. I'm trying to figure out. I was excited that I do have some stuff to bring back for giveaway at events. Locally, it's just I do know that I can record 2 games reasonably well. Okay. So it also means that like if we do, so say like Evergreen, I'll probably set up both cameras. Mm-hmm. And so probably record 2 games around for that. So like there's that little bit of change. I'm definitely thinking about now that there's a better interviewing setup. Like I could do that. I could probably do that kind of stuff at Mox. I could potentially do stuff like that at Evergreen. And we're definitely planning to have that kind of stuff at LVO.
Right.
And was talking about it with Tyson, and I think I will be stepping at least back from the judging side of things, and I'm going to do full content creation at LVO. Probably just like just have like my own table where I can just have everything set up, be doing interviews, be working on editing that stuff and posting it right away.
That's awesome.
And so probably going to shift that direction since I know the stuff works.
Yeah.
Right now that like the system feels like it's fully functional. I'm like, okay, now we're going to see how I can do more of this.
You really stress tested it, and it sounds like almost flawless.
Yeah, I could not have done it without Danny. Danny saved my fucking ass.
Shout out Danny.
Because a lot of time he was monitoring the MCP game while I was monitoring the Shatterpoint game, but I was like bouncing back and forth, making sure that there wasn't problems. And for the most part, the game seemed to have gone well. I did have an instance where the SD card for the MCP dice trays was coming back corrupted, but I was able to run the Windows like fix your disk thing, and that worked. I have no idea what caused that, but it worked out. I didn't like spill anything on it, and it was just like plugging it in, and it was just like there isn't an SD card in here.
Yeah, computers don't need a reason to break.
Yeah, and well, it was weird because it's like while it's in the camera would tell me if there was no SD card.
Yeah,
but when I took it out and put it in something to transfer the files, it's like, this is corrupt. I put it back in the camera to see if I could transfer the camera, and then the camera's like, there's no SD card in here. I was like, it was just in here. So it obviously didn't happen during the recordings. And it didn't even happen like, because I used the same card from day 1 to day 2.
Interesting.
But yeah, learned a lot. It was definitely a lot of weight. That was probably the thing I was just the most sore from carrying around all the batteries and the stands and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I
imagine you're pretty physically.
At one point, someone went to pick up my backpack and they were just like, holy fuck, you've been walking around with this? What?
Oh, yeah, no, don't like that. Yeah. No, I sympathize. I had physical therapy yesterday, and that was my first moment to step away from work for the whole week. And my physical therapist was like, it's pretty bad and you're losing range of motion. And I'm like, so that's why it hurts so much more than lately. So same boat. Yeah. But it'd be cool to do all content creator stuff at LVO. There's a non-zero chance I will be working.
I know you had told me that. At LVO. That's better than you not going.
Yeah. So like worse than attending.
Last I heard you were like, I think I have to work during it.
Exactly. Worse than attending. Better than not being there at all.
Yes. At least we can still party.
I'm technically in charge, so I can declare when I am coming and when I am going. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, you're not going to be running events at, midnight.
Unless it's a goth party that I personally organize, then no. So, that will be...
You heard it here. She's organizing a goth party for LVO.
Hey.
Bring your black.
Yeah, all black. Like
black is the new black.
Black. Back to black. So, that'll be interesting. But hopefully, if I am there, it means I don't need to be locked in the booth. So, I could probably hang out and do stuff. But... yeah, so, and then hopefully next Adepticon, whenever they probably haven't released when the next one is, yeah?
Not yet. Okay. They usually release it pretty quick. Adepticon is good about like, hey, this is when the next year is going to be, so you can immediately start planning for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the new location. I hadn't done Milwaukee before. Seattle does have direct flights. Also, like, you missed out. The flight over was kind of crazy because it ended up with, like, pretty much all the AMG staff were on there. I was on there. Like, at least a third of that flight was Wargamers. It was practically a party bus of Wargamers. Poos and Sriracha from Between Two Sprues ended up catching a flight to Seattle and then ended up on the same plane as us as well.
Serendipitous.
So, yeah, it was... Sriracha was almost right in front of me. He was talking with, there was a lady with an ESA. And so I think he was just trying to play with the dog, like the whole flight, basically.
So fair. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, you know what, though? Oh, I just thought of this.
I don't know what. So tell me.
If I end up working at LVO, we have to drive there because we bring a booth.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to bring a bunch of stuff and don't want to have to fly with it.
Well, I was already telling, so at least one thing that I was talking about is that I'd like to have some sort of custom banner behind me for the recordings and stuff, which I might poke you about since you're way more artsy than me.
Oh, you mean for that? I thought you meant about printing banners because we make a new banner for every event. Okay, yeah, that too.
But getting a banner made from behind me and then just sending the banner and the stand to Tyson, because he's driving up with a trailer as well. And so that was the thing. I was like, I can just make one for LVO and just like leave it with them. Would be kind of...
Yeah. But I can get you a really good deal on banners.
Yes. We should definitely talk about it. But I might send stands and stuff with you guys if you're driving down just to save me some that was tough, like at the airport, like lifting all the heavy bags and trying to take out these big lithium batteries and stuff. It was we can drive that part was a little stressful.
Yeah, you should get a banner and you should get a custom table.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the big things on the radar. Like all the equipment wise, I felt like everything was working.
You have the hard part down. Now you get to do the sprinkles.
I need to be a little better organized, like have some sort of like case that's labeled for all the different SD cards. So I can very clearly know like which SD card is for which, and that kind of thing. And so when I'm like looking for like, oh, this one goes with this one, and probably label the cameras. But yeah, overall, I could not have asked for things to flow better overall, and the people were very receptive to doing interviews and such. I'd like to work on the layout a little bit for the games, and like maybe have some sort of like printout of like where to put stuff, that sort of thing. Because I don't think the videos are looking quite as good from the event, just because I'm not asking them to put the cards where it's most convenient for me. Like these are people who are playing in Worlds, right? You know, I don't want to like throw them off their whole game but it's like, I'm like, man, it's like so hard to fit everything when you're trying to like just get it all to work.
That makes sense. You should almost like make a playmat that's, or like cut a cloth that's the size of the frame, and then you'd be like, as long as your shit is on this mat, we have no problem. Yeah,
that is essentially exactly what I'm thinking.
Mind meld.
Yeah. But yeah, overall super cool. I really thought I was going to wander around and like look at some like the armies on parade and like look at the Golden Demon stuff, but I was still like so busy and just needing to sit down between some of the stuff.
Yes, I totally understand that. There's a grand tournament at the event that we do, and I got to walk through it for about 5 seconds, and I was like, oh, I really want to look at that. I don't have time to look at that. And it's like, so I imagine you felt kind of the same way, but
I did see. So there was a point where, you know, I think on Friday we basically just took over like the AMG recording area because they had no other interviews scheduled for Friday, and so we just sort of like set up and we're basically like held down that area for Friday. But then we're needing to switch up and like record in a different spot on the next day, and the thing with that is just kind of, we just kind of like picked spots where there was space, but there was these people that came over and 4 people had bought StarCraft miniatures, and they were literally assembling them on the spot to play a game with each other.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm a little jealous because that's an experience that seems really cool. Can you imagine like you and your group of friends getting into a miniatures game at a convention, sitting there like hanging out, having drinks, assembling stuff, and then play a game at the con?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously unpainted, which is blasphemous, but that experience would still be like kind of nuts.
Yeah. No, that should be one of the events. It's like you like. I guess you have to pay for it in advance and be ready for it, but like full service demo, you show up at 8 a.m., you get the mini, you have to paint it, build it, assemble it, and then you all play a demo together with it. That would be kind of sick.
Yeah, that would be fun. They had one of the things I'd never seen them do before that they had this whole like not a little table setup. We're talking about enough for probably 30 people to be painting right in front of the AMG area. Nice. And they had paint and brushes, and they were giving out the AMG Atom, the like Atom figurine that's of their logo.
Oh.
And so they were giving out that for anyone who just wanted to like stop by and paint. But I thought that was cool because like imagine also you're trying to like paint something for an event. So I did pick up the convention exclusive Mephisto.
You got the AMG mini for me, right?
I did not bring back any of it. They are all like assembled, and I was worried about them surviving the trip.
That's valid.
Yeah. I
in between the rocks in your backpack.
Yes. Everything was packed very full. Dizzard saw me like Tetrising to get more shit into the minis case. And I was also trying to make sure that like these cards and stuff and like dice and stuff all made it back safely.
Any casualties?
No. Actually, I think everything survived. I don't know. Like, there might be some cables that I'm missing. I might have just misplaced some cables. But no, I think
so fair.
I haven't assembled Mephisto yet, but I think he made it back okay. I had like all the dice and everything. It didn't look like any of my models ended up damaged.
Wow.
I don't think any of the equipment broke outside of like I don't know. There's this one smaller SD card for the Rodecaster that I'm nervous about because it was the one that I recorded the Dallas interview with.
Oh.
So I'm like a little nervous about that boy. But past that, like I said, I could not have asked for it to go better.
Flawless victory.
Yeah, lots of, now it's just like a lot of posting. I've already recorded one game with commentary with Pure and already posted that. Exporting the first MCP video that Danny's co-commentating on. And I have I think I have one game for Shatterpoint, one game for MCP that are probably like ready for commentary.
Okay.
So things are flowing because I'm not sick. I did not get con crud.
Ayo.
Praise Mephisto.
Sure, why not? Thank you, Mephisto.
You came back, I got a model. Oh, and like also I did bring back stuff for Donovan because he won one of the stream giveaways for Momentous Struggle.
Nice.
So I've got some stuff for him. Actually, I have stuff right in front of me. try to do that and not make them super noisy. But these are promos that I have to if you want to look through them. This is stuff that I'm going to give away at events.
Oh, I love this like new rainbow foil that they're doing.
Yeah.
That is so rad.
So I got full foil, a set of foils of the Spectres.
That's sick.
Foil Krennic, foil, I forget the lieutenant from the Morgan box. He's in there. A Wrecker and a Crosshair. So one of each of the Gen Con
Not
foils.
gonna lie. The Elsbeth is the coolest. That's
I actually meant to give her
rad.
to you, so you should just take her.
Yes?
Yeah. I actually meant to take her out and put her with this stuff, but I was busy.
Sick. Okay, just coincidence that I have.
Yeah. You're like, I really like her. I was like, actually, I meant to give her to you anyway.
Ayo. Yeah, no, I wish it won't appear on camera, but like the rainbow foil that they did is like over the standard foil is so good.
Yeah, it looks super good. Yeah.
Shout out to Marco Fela for sick
but yeah,
art.
she's coming out soon. You might want to watch Ahsoka. Watch there's just one show. It's only like 6 or 8 episodes, with Morgan in it.
Okay, that's probably. That one's been high on my list, but like, especially because I don't know the actress's name who plays Ahsoka, but
oh yeah, I can't remember.
But like, she's pretty cool. So high on my list.
And the second season of that is coming out relatively soon, I think. So yeah, that might be one. I mean, and it's also it's PG-13. You could probably play it in the store.
Okay. Things that I've been asked to play in the store, none of them have passed anything. One time I caught them playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep.
Like that was the one thing I banned, and they were like, haha, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, fine.
No
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
Unless it's the part where he gets possessed by Pharaoh.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
All right, well, anything else you want to know about Adepticon? I was trying to think if I had left anything out. There was just a lot of good hangs and like and I was just glad that I didn't feel spread too thin. Like I felt like good. I got to hang at least a little bit with everyone. I probably would have liked to hang with Kenny and Scott and Sam, like the Zion's Finest guys, a little bit more. There was a funny moment. So the Schick interview was scheduled for the very end of the convention. Okay. Right. So we were going to be the last interview. Nice. And we did that intentionally. And we were going up there early to set up for it. Yeah. So the interview's at like 6. We were going up there at like 4 to 4:30 range to like start setting up. We're going to move a table. We had like planned the whole thing out, found this cool area. There's a blue backdrop and stuff. Get up there. Fucking Jesse's recording there. I was like, great minds. We picked the exact same spot to record.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He's so great.
Yeah. But I did get to meet Chris, his co-host from Fury's Finest, his MCP show, who I had never met before. Oh. And so that was super cool. And so when they wrapped up their interview with Plumber, I was like, you guys want to just do like a little 15-minute move, throw and Fury's Finest crossover. Little hang. And so that was fun.
That's so cool. Yeah. I think that's the FOMO I have the most is just like seeing all these really cool people. I didn't actually get to look at how the actual tournament went. Any...
Probably the most exciting part about the Shatterpoint tournament is Dean, aka Iceman. He was in the finals. He did not bring Cassian or Boss. He was playing Plo Koon and Kiadi Mundi in the semifinals, or in the quarterfinals and the finals. I think he might have played it in the semis as well.
Wow.
So Plo Koon on the finals table.
That's incredible.
Not on my bingo card. But
no.
So big props there. Scott, who you had met, who was the world champion last year, he was not playing Cassian or Boss, but he ended up, I believe, 9th. So he was just out from top 8.
That sucks. Well, he like the day that I met him, you were like, oh, the guy who won Worlds competing. And I was like, oh no, scary. But then he ended up being just like, hi, how are you?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, you're just
chill.
like really nice. Okay, cool.
There was I forget whose so it was one of the guys from the UK. So I believe he was a friend of, I think, Quincy, who is one of the Shatterpoint community guys. Not someone I think you've really talked to, but who's in the Shatterpoint community. His brother was playing in the Bushido tournament. He won a sword. Like
what?
An actual katana. It was sharp.
What?
And so he's trying to figure out how does he get this sword back to the UK. Has very strict rules about bringing in
sword.
But so like we were totally like playing with his sword basically in the middle of a mall. And at the point that I bowed to give the sword back to him, Aubrey was like, "Your bow is really good. How do you know how to bow?"
That's such an Aubrey thing to point out. Solid bow, gentlemen.
I think that was actually the most complimentary like Aubrey has ever been to me. Like he seemed like really impressed.
That's awesome. I miss Aubrey.
Yeah.
Okay. You should have then asked why there's no lightsaber for winning the Shatterpoint.
I think there has been events that have done that. That's up to AMG. That was AMG stuff to give out. But I do believe lightsabers have been given out at other Shatterpoint events. I think it's just a reality of like some stuff is hard to fly back with.
Oh, yeah.
You can make the trophy too big and it's hard to fly back with a trophy.
Yeah, I know that some events will do like a example trophy and then they'll like mail you the real one. Yeah.
I did record 2 games with the person who ended up winning, who was Matt Bronson, aka Zeus Juice. And I hadn't really like watched him play before until I was recording his game with Kenny. And I felt like I was watching a fucking surgery between those two. Like it was clinical. And it was just different.
Did you expect one of them to be like scalpel?
Yeah, it was very like so methodical. So it was just something you could tell from watching him. Like these are like some of the best in the world.
People who can like enter the zone and like without trying.
Yeah, and so when he did like he was second, I believe, last year. I believe he played in the finals. I was praising him because he was playing Han Kanan, which was a list that I had really liked, and people were like, it's not that good. And I'm like, Zeus Juice is proving me right. We both like that list. But yeah, I didn't realize quite how good he was until I was seeing him play, and I was like, oh, this guy's really good. Ooh. Like,
you said you recorded a game of his? Or?
I had 2 games of his. I got a game between him and Kenny from the day 1 of Worlds, and then I got a game of him and Matt Booker.
Oh, Matt.
So it was a Matt off. Bronson versus Booker. So
can Matt be off?
That's actually the one that's already posted.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, should we wrap the kind of Adepticon post interview?
Yeah.
Thankfully, working on stuff has made it so I'm not like missing it all, right now, where, sometimes you get back from a convention, you're like, when's the next one? But thankfully I'm like so busy with the content and stuff. But
yeah, it feels like you're still there a little bit.
But I think my biggest piece of advice for people is when you're doing these sort of conventions, you really have to pick your battles. And what I mean by that is decide what your focus is. If I was trying to play a bunch of games and do this, I think I would be fucking dead.
Yes.
Like, I think I would have destroyed myself. And so I think if you pick something in advance and go, hey, this is my focus, and then maybe pick like a secondary. And so in my case, I was like, my secondary is social.
Sorry. You have to have a primary and a secondary.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So my primary was content creation. My secondary was social time. And then my support was I wanted to do Battle on the Sands.
Yes. There we go.
Wow. I did not mean that. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. But yeah, so I think, so if you're like going, hey, my goal is to compete, right? Mm-hmm. And then you let that kind of gauge your other decisions, gauge like what you're bringing, what your focus is on, whether you're going back to the room early to rest, that sort of thing. And just let you pick and then let it gauge. And then sometimes you'll pick wrong and you'll be like, I wish I had focused on some other things. I wish I had prioritized this stuff.
Sure.
But overall, I liked the way I prioritized things. And there was even a point like Sunday night before we met up with other people where Danny and I just went to a corner in like a hotel bar. And I was just like editing and uploading stuff, and we were just kind of talking and having a beer. And so we skipped like larger social time for a couple of hours so that I could get the interview with Schick up.
Nice.
But well, why don't you close this out? It is good to be back and like chatting with you. And so many people asked about you. And we're like, where's Sin?
I was in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Can I roll your dice?
Yeah, don't curse them.
God, now I'm nervous. You're a witch. You can remove curses.
I'm more good at putting curses on.
These are not meant to be my dice, clearly.
Yeah, see, they don't roll R for you. It's good that you gave them to me.
That was half
They're
fails.
in good hands.
Yes. I am excited to roll my black dice, though. I'm I'm weirdly just excited to play a game of Shatterpoint so I can use my black and white dice.
When are we getting a game in?
We need to get in a game soon. It's around your work schedule and my work schedule.
It's my problem, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Why don't you close us out, Sin?
Gosh, what is my best? I don't know how to do a newscaster voice. This has been Sin interviewing Omnus, reporting back from Adepticon. Please enjoy the rest of the videos, and we'll see you next week.
With your primaries and your secondaries and your supports. Later, nerds.
Comm signal lost.